All right, we're live. Wow, it's been a while. All right, am I evil? Yes, I am. All right, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. We're going to go for about an hour. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. We're not just going to focus on Am I Evil? Again, feels like Rich and I have been having the same conversation for 4 years.
Well, this is primarily why we're here, because you have your print version out.
Right, exactly. So what this is all about, I'll tell the story really quickly. Well, actually, no, I will tell the story after I introduce the wonderful people who've joined to hang out with me and commemorate the special occasion. I will start from the top to my left, to right on your screen. Erika, thank you so much for joining us again. It's great to see you. Thanks again, man. Down below Erika, we got my buddy Rich Catino. Rich, thanks for
from Metal Asylum and Brave Words and the Metal Hall of Fame.
Right. I mean, really, Rich, thank you for being there from day one. As I've said to Rich in private, this wouldn't have happened without Rich. So
thanks for sharing it with me, because you're almost like one of the first people that you shared the idea with, and the concept art and the story and all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Rich was a sounding board. I mean, yeah, Rich has literally been there since day one. So yeah, I owe everything on this to Rich. So thank you, Rich. And then below me is another guy who was invaluable on the first campaign, gave lots of expertise, and also just been a friend for decades, literally. Great writer out of San Diego, J.R. Murdock. Thank you so much, J.R. You got by this, these are not the only guests.
Yeah, and he's joined us a couple times too for topics.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, we're all veterans. But yeah, I mean, so we're gonna get into this, and we're gonna talk. But yeah, again, thank you guys all for taking part of this, and then hopefully we'll get some more people will chime in and watch what we're watching here. But this is also going to go to YouTube, and so basically, if you don't know, the story with this is a couple of years ago, as actually pre-pandemic, I got an interview through Metal Asylum with Brian Tatler, and it was a good interview. He's a really great guy, a really great interview, and I just ran the idea by him during the interview, and he kind of stopped. I'm just going to ask the same 5 questions by everybody. But then Brian Tatler, yeah, that's an excellent CD, by the way. Brian Tatler, I just said, hey,
this reissue, by the way, the new artwork is awesome.
Yeah. So I said to Brian Tatler, if you don't, Brian Tatler is the guitar player from Diamond Head who co-wrote the song "Am I Evil" with Sean Harris, co-founding members of Diamond Head. And I said, has anyone ever told the story of Am I Evil, like in a comic or novel book form or anything? And he actually kind of perked up and went, no one's ever done that. Like, that would be great. So I got it, got his blessing, got Sean Harris's blessing, got the licensing taken care of. Got, an art team. One of the artists will be joining us in a little while. And then, yeah, long story short, a bunch of years went by. It was 2020 when we raised the fund. So we raised enough to pay for the artist, but we didn't really raise enough to do print book like what Rich is showing off and like what I'm showing off here.
Right.
But that's why we're coming back to IndieGoGo one more time. I'm not doing any more on IndieGoGo. The hell with that.
After you did the first campaign, people got the digital version for the people that kicked in money.
Exactly. Right. People who contributed to the first campaign got access to the digital version.
Right.
But yeah, now we're doing, and I mean, some people from the original campaign got access to it. But yeah, it was, and that was all a long damn time ago.
And we got an ebook version too, which was a little deeper than the graphic novel version.
Yeah, actually, thanks for mentioning that, Jared. I actually also wrote a novella, which is basically with no pictures. It's just a short novel version of the story while we were kind of waiting for the art to come through. Now the day is here. And by the way, for people who contributed to the first campaign time around, you guys, I'm not going to try and double dip on you guys. This is not Columbia House. You guys can come back and just any contribution at all. Just show me that you're interested, and then you can have it. Gonna add one more person to the stream right now, not our artist, but New Jersey legend. Here, we'll say great things about him while he's in the waiting room, so he can hear it. New Jersey metal legend.
I think he was played on SOU a few times, maybe.
Many times, yeah.
One of our favorite local singers. I can still hear him singing Metal Messiah.
There he is.
There you go.
Oh my.
There you go.
I am flattered and humbled. Thank you, guys.
Alan!
What's up?
Yes. Yeah, thank you for joining, Alan. Alan is makes sense here too, because Alan has been a supporter of this project since day one. You were part of these initial crowdfunding videos, and just we talked about Am I Evil, and you know just the best, man. I'm full of love today. I'm just gushing about all my guests, but
How long
And
has
we
it
had
been?
and we had him on for Jersey Metal too.
What's that?
yeah,
We had him on
yeah,
for Jersey Metal too.
Yep. Thank
yeah,
you
we
for that.
talked. Yeah, we talked. Well, it's just a coincidence. I'll tell the story. I'm talking too much, so I'm gonna tell the story, and then I'll shut the f up and let you guys talk a little bit. But we Rich and I said, hey, let's do when we were doing active live streams, we said, hey, let's do some episodes about Jersey metal, about the scene. And so we reached out to Alan. We're like, hey, you had something to do with this. He's like, I happen to be writing a book. So
Yep.
so
Me and Frank White.
so yeah, Alan and Frank and Frank White, legendary, one of the greats really in that field, one of the great music photographers, co-wrote a book. Alan, why don't you can tell us way better than I can.
Yeah,
So
where
tell us
exactly-
about your
It
book.
was it was an idea that Frank came to me with, that he wanted to do this book. He had the title called Jersey Metal. I came up with the subtitle that it's a history of the Garden State's heavy metal scene, and we initially had grand plans to make this from 1969 till today, to kind of show like how the scene started, which was mainly with like rock cover bands that were really inspired by like the New York Dolls and stuff like that, and how that grew into what became the metal scene much later in the 80s and stuff. But then we realized it was way too much content for one book, so we chopped it into 3 books. We put the first book out last December in 2022, and that was 1969 to 1986, and it's been doing really well. We've been selling a lot of books, a lot of T-shirts, and now we're really busy on the second book, which is, in my opinion, truly the book, because it's the metal years. It's 87 to 04, and right now we just got our intros done. We had our foreword written by Henry Vegian from Revenant, and that guy is like a super genius English professor down in North Carolina, and so his writing is just out of control good. And you're gonna love just the foreword alone. It's a beautiful piece of writing.
Awesome.
And Frank and I are writing our own little intros after that, and we're already probably, I would say, maybe only 10 pages are laid out right now with photos, but it starts with like Raven and Wasp and Slayer at the Capitol. That's like the
Oh,
very
wow.
first.
Why?
Yeah, that's
Where
the very
did
first.
the first part end off? I forgot. I think when you were talking about maybe Hades or Nonfiction playing and in the clubs or something like that. I forgot.
The first book?
Yeah.
Well, the first book ends in 86, so I haven't
Right.
even released my first Hades record yet. That's kind of what the second book starts with.
Well, you
also.
talk about playing in the clubs, though. I remember that.
Oh yeah. What
Yeah.
do you mean, like
When
myself?
Hades was playing and when you guys were playing in the clubs, but not about the album or anything yet.
Oh, for sure. And there's a lot of Hades coverage in there before I was in Hades. So there's
Right.
like Hades
Yeah.
at the Paramus Band show. There's Hades at a bunch of different gigs and stuff. At clubs that the Club 516, I think, Union Jack. Those were all Hades shows with Paul Smith singing, the original singer. So yeah, all that stuff's in the first book. And then the second book will launch, like I said, with that particular show at the Capitol. Certainly the Resisting Success stuff. I'll be doing a lot more writing in this book, because this is where I start becoming a singer in a band. And in the first book, I don't think I start writing my little autobiographical piece until like, I don't know, page 150 or something. And the book is 350 pages. I anticipate the second book to be about the same, but it's only because if we go over a certain page count, it's a lot more expensive to print.
Are you following the same kind of layout how you did the other one?
Yeah, but I think I'm getting better at it. Because we had to redo the entire first book. I don't know if you guys knew anything about that. Did we talk about that ever?
No.
So
No, I
the
didn't.
first book, this is kind of a whack story, but it's worth telling. So the first book, I went to the Aquarian magazine, who I used to work for back in the mid 80s. And I said to them, or actually it was late 80s. And I said to them, could we access your archives? So this way we can grab ads from the actual clubs, and we can see like what month and year certain bands played. It really helped us kind of timeline the book. And they were really gracious and cool about it. And, let us into the archive room a few times. Frank especially spent a lot of hours there, and we just needed photos of the metal specific stuff because the Aquarian's all kinds of music. It's not just heavy metal. And we
Right.
used a lot of those ads. Now, when I look back on it from a layout perspective, because I'm doing all the layout and all the editing, I really put too many ads in that just are too small. You know what I mean? Like, it's cool to see them, but they're a little too small on the page, and the font was a little too big. So I was able to kind of tweak that for a revision of the first book. And the reason we had to revise it is because at Chiller, we actually had advanced copies of the books at Chiller convention in Parsippany in October of last year. So we did actually start selling the book then, but the official release date was December 7th. And Mark Skirman was there with his weird New Jersey table, and he's one of the owners of the Aquarian. So I brought him a copy. Frank and I signed for him. We gave it to him, and he was stoked. He brought it back to the Aquarian, and the other two owners of the magazine were, I guess, really not happy that we had all this hype going on online with people wearing our shirts and people buying the books and stuff. And we literally, Frank and I, just for the record, haven't made a dime off of this because we're saving up money to print the next revised edition and the second book. But they basically wrote us an email. I should say they wrote Frank an email, not even me, saying, cease and desist with any of our artwork, any of our ads in future editions. Like, you can sell the books that you sold, you can print, you can sell the books that you printed, which is almost 1,000 books. And that's it. So no more ads after that. And quite honestly, I think they were just looking for money. I heard that from a couple different people. But, the time to ask for money is when we ask for access to the archive room, and we would have given them money. But now, after the fact, when you see that we've got actually a hype going on and it's cool, it's like, I don't even get it, but I guess haters just got to hate. So I went ahead and I just ripped every single mention of the Aquarian out of the book and every single ad. And that allowed us a lot of a different design kind of looks to it and a lot more content, because a lot of bands bought the book that were in these early bands in the late 70s and early 80s. And they were like, oh man, I had this great story. I wish it was in there. And I'm like, well, now I can put that great story in.
And you still have a ton of posters, mini posters and ads for shows and
right.
venues and everything still in the book. So
any flyers stayed, but we also had a ton of flyers from bands that we didn't use because we chose to use the ads. And I mean, we give this gigantic thank you to the Aquarian guys at the end of the book, which of course is ripped out as well, with a photo of them, the three owners that they gave us to put in. Like, they were a part of it. We even printed our stickers through them to promote the book. So like, they were a part of it, and we thought this was kind of a win-win for everyone, but they shut it down. And honestly, I'm way happier with the way the new book came out. There's a story about Mountain playing Bloomfield College that's not in the first book. Alice Cooper playing someplace in Newark. Like, that's like one of the first stories in the book now, which isn't in the original edition. So the cool thing is, at first, it's almost 1,000 books, I think, is a total limited edition now. Like, you'll never be able to buy it. And we probably have less than 200 left to sell. And we're selling them every day on the website and in person. Like, Frank and I are doing a thing out in Frenchtown with all these heavy metal cover bands this Saturday. We'll be there in the afternoon into the evening selling books and t-shirts. But once those books are gone, that's it. And the new revised edition will be what we print next. And I think it's going to actually be superior to the first one. It's kind of a bummer. I had to disengage from the second book to reset the first book. But I also caught a lot of typos and shit that I proofread the hell out of that first book, and I still caught a ton of typos, and I was able to fix those. So I think
You'll always find the typos once it's in print.
I know, dude, but I must have proofed it like 10 times. It's crazy. But anyway, I was able to proof more and fix a lot of stuff and make it better. And I shrank the point size down a point on the type. So I think it looks better, everything flows better, and now we're going to have that as our final version of the first book. And like I said, we're digging in. Like, Thursday nights are our night. So I got a little rehearsal studio where I rent space out to bands in East Rutherford now, and I have a little office there. And Frank comes over, instead of being in this little closet, which is in my basement here where we used to do our sessions, and we do our writing session there for a few hours every Thursday, and we're steamrolling it. And it's actually good because I've already got a book under my belt with him, and it's just a lot easier to know how he works, how to work with him, and how to do the layout. And I think I'm getting better at laying things out too. So I think it's all good overall.
It's cool too. I was telling Erika, because she didn't get it yet, that the book doesn't just have the bands that came out of New Jersey and the area. It's the bands that toured through here too and played the clubs and the arenas and stuff with all the Jersey bands and just everybody that came through New Jersey that was hard rock and metal.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. No, I mean it's great. My hat is off to you guys. It's I mean New Jersey. Like I said, obviously it's funny that Rich and I had a separate idea not to do a book, but to say we've got to honor the Jersey metal scene. Then you guys
Talk about
put
it,
together
yeah.
this amazing book. Yeah, it's cool. And by the way, I proudly wear that shirt at shows and concerts and whatnot. And I wore it to the Metal Hall of Fame ceremony.
you.
So yeah, I love
Thank
that. It's one of my favorite new. It's better than the concert shirt. But yeah, everyone, if you everyone should go to the website and check out the book, of course. But check out the t-shirts too, man. It's one of my black t-shirts. I'm one of those guys. I think we all are, right?
Yeah,
Right?
for sure. We kept it simple with the logo and stuff, and it's cool. Thank you for doing that. That's great.
No, of course. And kudos and congratulations, and to you and Frank. No, it's great stuff. But yeah, I mean, by the way, I think you know Erika, right? Erika and Alan, you guys know each
of
other.
course.
Yeah, from New Jersey.
Through Jack Frost.
Yeah. Jack Frost. Yeah,
And your
another.
Era and Seven Witches, which was 2 albums, right? 2 albums you were on?
2 albums. Yeah.
I can't wait to read that in the book.
Sorry?
I said I can't wait to read that in the book. When you guys did the Wasp tour, was that like 05?
Well, that was 06, I think.
06.
And yeah, that'll be in the 3rd book. Well, actually, what is it? It's 87 to 04, so that'll be in the 3rd book. But Jack will be heavily in the 2nd book, the Sabotage stuff. When he was in Sabotage, like
Oh yeah, because they played the Burchill a couple times.
Frank's got photos from all those gigs, and I'm gonna get some really cool stories out of Jack for that for sure.
I actually saw them at the Burchill. I don't know if you remember, Alan or Erika. They played the Burchill Sabotage before Jack was in the band for Dead Winter Dead and the Wake of Magellan.
I didn't know that, but I opened up for them. It had to be 94 or 95 at the Burchill. And it was kind of a weird thing for me because, we had toured in 93 with Sabotage when I was in Nonfiction. It was us, Sabotage, and Overkill all through Europe and all through America. Nice. But then when I was in All Time Low, which was just like a little demo band because Nonfiction had broken up, we were treated really great on tour, and then we just were not treated well at the Burchill. And it wasn't Sabotage's fault; it was the promoter's fault. But it was just such a strange, weird feeling because we, went from like, hey, we're like buddies with these dudes, and now it's sort of like we're just this shitty opening band that is fighting to get $50, at the door.
Speaking of Hades and Nonfiction, you guys got any reissues or anything coming out while you're here?
I mean, we did a vinyl reissue of Damnation a few years ago, not too long ago. I think Dan structured some kind of reissue of the first album on vinyl. This vinyl stuff seems to be like really cool with the collectors now.
Yeah.
But that's kind of it, and we're really not active, so it's just sort of like reminiscing at this point, But it's cool for the fans that are hardcore.
Yeah,
and you guys are all over streaming too, right? I mean, you can get the Nonfiction album or some of them. I don't think everything's there, but I mean,
I'm not sure if everything's there, but yeah, there's a bunch of stuff there for sure.
I was just listening to Watchtower not that long ago, so there you
go. Nice.
Oh wow.
I'm actually going to Texas in July for a trade show for my day job, and it's in San Antonio, and I'm still tight with Ronnie Jarzombek, the guitar player. So when I'm down there, we're going to go out and he's got some deli he wants to take me to get lunch or something one day, but I can't wait to see him.
Nice. And by the way, Alan, I guess you might not know JR Murdock. He's actually San Diego based. He's a sci-fi writer, podcaster, and cool person. But yeah, Alan is, as you heard the intro at the beginning, he's a New Jersey veteran, New Jersey legend, I'd say for sure. But yeah, you guys good you guys to meet each other.
I was in the punk and metal scene back in 91 through about 95, 96. So my only claim to fame is we opened for Blink, who became Blink 182.
Okay.
So we did a lot of college shows, a lot of just doing the grind and doing all the little clubs. You're handing out tickets, for free, and you're paying for all these people to show up and getting nothing out of it. And it's like just getting up there on stage in front of 20 people and playing and just loving every minute of it. Being a starving musician was a lot of fun, but the starving part really sucked.
Hey, I stayed skinny though.
oh yeah. I've never been a 29 cents.
Same, bro.
Yeah, those are the days. But yeah, it's lots of great stories from that time. So yeah, I'm eager to check out your book too. I was trying to hop on the website as you were talking about it, and then the music popped up. I'm like, nope, we'll go after this is done.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
worries. It's cool. You'll dig it. There's a lot
Actually-
of great stories in there for sure.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'll drop it in here. I'll find. Oh, I'm looking it up right now. I'll drop it into the chat here. But
You
yeah,
have
Jersey
a-
Metal book. First thing
You
comes
have
up.
kind of a projected time when you want to get your layout done for the second one?
Well, I certainly don't want it to be 2.5 years again, and I know it won't be because I'm just like I said earlier, like we're way more fluid and fast now, and I'm able to dedicate a lot more time to it now just because I know how the process works, and I kind of squeeze it in like in every available free moment, which I don't have a lot of free moments, but oh yeah, thanks for putting the website up there. That's cool, and I'm guessing at least a year, but I don't know. I mean,
I'm not trying to rush you. I'm just saying because I know.
No.
it takes
I don't
time
want to. I just don't want it
do
to
the
be
whole
that
layouts.
long.
A lot
I don't
of
want
work.
it to be that long, you know. But I
Yeah.
mean, because dude, honestly, there's a lot of people that are in the book that freaking died and never got a chance to even see it, and I don't want that to keep happening, and I know it will. So
We're not
like
getting
John
younger.
Zazula, Johnny Z didn't get to see the book, and there's just so many people that are really fundamental, important people in the Jersey scene that unfortunately didn't even get to kind of see it come to fruition because it just took so freaking long. But it is what it is,
Yeah. I mean, I tried to get a copy of Am I Evil to Johnny Z. Like that's how long ago we started working on Am I Evil. I was like, well, if not for Johnny Z, I would have probably never heard the song. So I want to
Right.
get him, get him some awareness of this. But yeah, unfortunately, Johnny Z, John Zazula, the founder of Megaforce Records, he and his wife founded Megaforce Records. Yeah.
Is this where you
Rich was
guys
repping
first
my
heard
band.
it? Because this is where I first heard it. It wasn't Diamond Head. It was the single.
That's
for
where I
Freaking
first
Death.
heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I first heard it through Metallica. What about you guys, Erika? JR?
Erika and JR.
Was it at Garage Days? I think that's when I first was it on Garage Days.
Yes.
Yeah, that's when I first.
598.
Yeah, I bought the cassette at the Woodbridge Center.
That and Blitzkrieg are both on there, right?
Yep.
Yes.
I still have my cassette.
Yeah, I
Oh, and
have
at
this.
the end they do. At the end they do the beginning of Run to the Hills, right?
Yeah.
That's the other one. That's Garage
Is
Days
it?
revisited.
That's, yes,
Yeah,
Garage Days revisited the very last thing they
okay.
do. Yep.
yeah, they do a different Diamond Head song on that one. They do Helpless on that one that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was on that little tape. You couldn't. It was kind of for Metallica. It was kind of obscure. Like you had to get it on that single for a while. That was the only place you could get it. Was on that single that
Yeah.
Rich is showing off.
You can
And
find
then,
it on YouTube, but
then it was put on to Kill 'Em All.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's some editions of Kill 'Em All had it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Both
you
of
can find
them.
it on YouTube. There's a little clip with Lars where he's talking about all the bands that inspired them, and he's like Diamond Head, and I'm like, who are these bands he's talking about? And yeah, this is all pre-internet. You couldn't go Google this stuff. So yeah, same thing. I'm at the record shop at Tower Records digging through, going, okay, where's the Diamond Head stuff? Where's all these bands he was talking about? And yes, they popped it out. And it's like, okay, I got to check this out.
Sure.
And-
Angel Witch. They were into all that stuff.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
very
Angel
very
Witch.
different vibe. Am I Evil between the Metallica version and the Diamond Head version?
Totally.
Just a little.
Although I'll say though, I was surprised because I for years I didn't hear the Diamond Head version for years because as JR was saying, listen, you kids, back in the '80s, if you wanted to hear a song, it took a lot of work just to hear the song. You couldn't just,
Yes.
but so yeah, it took me years to hear the Diamond Head version. I was expecting like some kind of wimpy '70s thing, and I thought the guitar solo was note for note. Like it's not like Kirk took this slow guitar solo and shredded. Like Brian shreds on that on that first version. I thought the first version was killer. However, I will say with the current incarnation of Diamond Head, they've put out a new, basically re-recorded "Lightning to the Nations" with their current singer.
That's not this one,
Rats.
though. This is the most recent.
Right,
Okay.
the one I'm talking about is on a white cover. Right, what Rich is holding is that's still Sean Harris. So Sean Harris's vocals are unbelievably amazing. But the new version, I mean, the guitar, it's recorded in this century, so the production is incredible.
Yeah.
Brian Tatler's guitar is just crunch. To me, that's actually, I think it surpasses even the Metallica version. Their new one because it's got the heaviness and it's got the modern recording, the modern band. So check it out if you can. If you can, check out the one with the white cover.
And this one's
All
great
right.
too because this is remastered and your disc 2 has some extra stuff too. So this is really cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, I mean Diamond Head,
Alan,
obviously
have you heard
Metallica.
this? Have you guys or JR?
I haven't. I want to
seen
hear
this
that
yet?
though. That
No?
looks cool, man. No, I have not heard it.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, the remaster definitely helps.
I bet.
Yeah. And it truly is. I mean, that album never got its due. If you want to talk about the albums that should have been all over the world, I mean, thank God for Lars. Without Lars, none of us would have heard that album. And that album is an absolute masterpiece. I mean, Diamond Head are more than just those 4 songs that Metallica covered. Diamond Head are absolutely great songwriters. Actually not just Metallica, but metal. Metal probably wouldn't sound like it does if it hadn't been for Diamond Head doing what they did. But just they never got the recognition that they should have. That
A lot of those new wave of British heavy metal bands didn't, though.
Yeah, a lot of them
right.
were way before their time. They were, 5-10 years
Angel
before.
Witch and Saxon became pretty successful, very successful. But like Angel Witch and Tigers of Pantang and Demon and Satan, there's so many bands.
Dude,
really
I toured with Demon. I toured in Europe with Demon with 7 Witches. That was so much fun. Those guys.
Really?
God.
It was really just.
I saw Satan like last year. They played with Night Demon and Haunt, and they were great. They never come to America.
I know. We got to see them every single night, though. It was so much fun. It was such nice guys too. Like just chilling out with them. I mean, it was mostly just the singer, right? But all the dudes that were in the band at that time were phenomenal people.
That's very cool. That's Nuwabum, right? New wave of British heavy metal. And be careful on the internet if you talk about that, because there are still people who are devoted to new wave of British heavy metal, and they will not fuck around. Like if you say like, oh yeah, I like Judas Priest, like they'll come to your house and argue with you. Like Judas Priest is not. So just but no,
it's the pretty voice of they weren't the real thing.
But it's a great. I mean, Witchfinder General is another one I'll throw out there. You guys, Tigers. But I mean, Diamond Head are they're the Beatles of that genre. I'd say whether you agree about their music being the best, but they're the most popular. They're kind of the figureheads. Or of course Maiden, but Maiden. Again, those guys will argue with you. Like Maiden's not a new wave of British heavy metal.
Maiden and Priest transcended that movement.
I love that Erika mentioned the Run to the Hills thing and all due props to Metallica, but there was a time, I think it was in Jersey, where Metallica was at an Iron Maiden show, and they let Lars get up to do Run to the Hills, and he fucked it up so bad that Nico just went up and grabbed him and threw him off the drum stool and jumped in and started the song again. I was like, that's great. But I got to give props to Metallica, of course. They opened the doors for everybody,
Grim Reaper, they were popular for a little while. They were great.
Big time.
Yeah.
Raven, of course. Raven, still around.
Raven.
As I'm looking at a list, I don't want to forget anybody here.
So I saw Raven in January, and they were the craziest MFers on stage. They had every bit of energy. You would have thought it was 1982. Like they were just absolutely
around.
I saw him at Dingbats last year. I was at Dingbats, and I had brought my friend Steve Trulio, who was an old Hades roadie, and still an old friend of ours. And he had this guitar that he's got everybody you can imagine signing. He goes, I'd love to get Raven to sign it. And I'm like, I'll get you to have Raven sign that. I said, but I'm going to embarrass the fuck out of you when we meet them, because many years ago, I guess it had to be like 1990 or 1989. I was in Watchtower, and I was at the Noise Records Christmas party on Crosby Street in New York City. And Melanie was our office manager, receptionist, and that's John Gallagher's wife. And so John Gallagher's at the Christmas party, and I'm like such a massive Raven fan, especially back then. We used to cover Break the Chain in my band Prophecy before I was in Hades. Oh my God, we were so into them. And Crash Bang Wallop and All for One, like we were just all about it. And I couldn't believe I was in the same room with the guy. And I'm like, John, and he's just, if you've ever met John Gallagher, he's just crazy and nuts on stage, but he's such a nice, normal human being in person, off stage. And we were just bullshitting and talking. And I was like, John, man, we're drinking and stuff. I'm like, would you call my friend Steve and just say hello to him? I said, he is the biggest Raven fan. He got me into you guys. And just say hi to him. I said, I don't know if it was his birthday or something, but just leave him a message if he's not there. So he gets his answering machine, and I'll never forget it. It's just like, hello, this is John Gallagher of Raven. And he does this wicked high, crazy scream that went on forever. And I'm like, oh my God, bro. I said, you just made my friend's world. When he hears that message, he's going to lose his shit. And so the next day, I call him up and I'm like, Steve, did you get the message? And he goes, yeah, I got the message. And I'm like, dude, wasn't that cool? And he's like, that wasn't John Gallagher. And I'm like, don't tell me you erased the message. He's like, of course I erased it. It wasn't John Gallagher. I'm like, you're an idiot. And so now, all these
Oh,
years
no.
later, I mean, think about how many years went by, right? And this is just this past year. So I bring him onto their little, I guess it wasn't a tour bus, but it was like a RV. And he has his guitar, and they sign it. And I'm like, Steve, you want to tell these guys anything about erasing a message? And I already prepped John Gallagher for it. I'm like, John, I know you're too nice to rip on the kid, but just rip on him a little bit, you know? And John's like, what the fuck was that? What the fuck would you erase that message for? And it was so stupid Raven.
Oh, that is awesome. Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Alan, because yeah, they're just so kind of just chill off stage. Like they're just just nice, just relaxed kind of guys.
Yep.
Then they get on stage and then they're like breaking stuff. Like when I saw them in January, they didn't have the hockey helmet, but yeah, I mean, it's just
Well, they got
absolute.
the guy, I forget his name. Mike, is it? The guy who's in Fear Factory on drums. So that was kind of cool.
Oh, I didn't even realize. Yeah.
Don't they have a new album coming out this year?
I think so. Yes, I think I just saw something online about that.
Yeah. In June,
Kyle?
I think. Yeah, new Raven album.
Sorry to everyone. Yeah, so Kyle Hazard. Actually, I didn't have not yet launched yet. We missed our 6/6 at 6 time, but that's cool. So Kyle is the artist who did all the interiors of the comic book. So everyone,
Awesome.
not worthy. So Kyle, we got Erika from Florida, formerly New Jersey. You sort of know Rich Catino. I don't think you guys have met.
But
and then down. What's up?
I was online a couple of things of, that guy liked my thing. Cool.
But down there beneath Rich, although they're equals in life, but beneath Rich is J.R. Murdock, the amazing author and friend and podcaster from San Diego, and then bottom center, in the who's that the Paul Lynn Square on Hollywood Squares. We got Alan Tecchio of Hades, Nonfiction, Watchtower, Mike LaPond, and just like 1,000 other bands. Just New Jersey metal legend, but a really metal legend. Alan Tecchio, Kyle Burles, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Wow.
Awesome.
I feel so boring. I'm introduced as Erika from Florida, formerly New Jersey, and everybody else is, and Alan was in Hades and this and that.
The thing is, Erika,
cool, Erika. Everybody knows that.
Erika, though, you have a bigger following and fan club than anybody here. So, that's so. But no, I mean, and actually, we've had Erika on the show a couple of times, and she just absolutely brings it. Like she knows more about some of the stuff than I do, and it's like we had her on about Rat and Bon Jovi, and I was like, holy shit! Like I got to do my homework, not about Bon Jovi, but about other stuff.
Hey, I defend those first 4 albums.
I just need to back up for 1 second. So Alan, you had mentioned Magellan. I don't know if you know this story, but Rich and I went out to see you guys. In Long Island. What was that club in Long Island? It was the Wasp tour. What was that? What was that club, Rich?
I don't remember.
We were with Kevin Myers. It took us like 4 hours to get out of Long Island because there was no GPS back then. It was like 2005, and I just remember because we're like, "What are you, some kind of Magellan?" Yeah. You remember that, Rich?
Yeah. You guys played the Starland too at that time, didn't you? Wasp?
Yeah, Starland. Crocodile
Sorry,
Rock.
I don't know how to shut this thing off. We played the Sundance a lot out on Long Island. I think we played Sparks.
I don't remember
a couple
the name.
smaller clubs, but the bigger shows were always at the Sundance for sure.
Nice.
In fact, one time Maiden headlined. It had to be the Seventh Son of a Seventh Son tour at Nassau Coliseum, and we went out there. And because of Jimmy Schulman, our bass player in Hades, we were able to get up on stage with Maiden and sing background for the Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner.
Oh, nice.
With the Anthrax guys, which was super cool. And then we blew out of there and raced over to Sundance and opened up for Overkill at night. It was one of those amazing nights you never forget,
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got a pair of drumsticks on the Power Slave tour.
That's pretty cool.
But that's all I got.
Well, Erika has some pretty awesome Maiden stories too, though, right? I mean, you've met Nico and some of the guys, right?
So Nico owns a restaurant down here in South Florida, so he does an anniversary party every year. So I've hit that a couple times. I met Steve Harris. He's like my favorite. I look like a serial killer in the picture. But I still want to meet Bruce. And he was just at Rock and Roll Ribs like 3 weeks ago.
Oh wow.
Well,
Yeah, I
hopefully
mean,
we'll get those U.S. tour dates soon this year.
I
Maybe
know, like
later this year.
they're playing California at the beginning of October, and I'm like, I'm going to be 50. I know I shouldn't say I'm going to be 50 October 13th, and I'm like, how cool would it be if they like played on? I would fly that like, if they played on my 50th birthday. That would be awesome. And they did in 2006, I think it was. They played my birthday. It was like, and I was there with all my friends. I'm like, it's like Maiden played my birthday party because we were like up front, general admission. I'm like, I had all my friends there, so they played my birthday party.
That's
Nice.
cool.
Nice.
Maybe
I
that
saw
one
last
day.
year. Sorry.
I know I
Maybe
should
that one
invite
day is going to be the start of the tour, and they just can't announce it yet. You know.
Yeah. Or listen, maybe I'll invite all you guys. I actually thought about like around my 50th birthday. I'm like, I want like, like kids do like Barney birthdays and this. And I'm like, I want like a very Maiden birthday party. So I'm like, why not do to Nico's, have like Iron Maiden party hats? Everybody has to wear an Iron Maiden shirt. I mean, it's 50. I could do what I want, right? That's like that. So I might do that.
Yeah. What's his
Yeah.
restaurant like?
It's
What's it like?
It's cool. It's first of all, it's it's a rib joint. They do ribs. They have Ace's High Fries, Brave New World potato salad.
Awesome.
So
Oh my
it
God.
actually, yeah.
Fully themed.
I go for the Ace's High Fries, but I mean, the food's decent, but it really is like, it's an Iron Maiden museum. It's just all this cool stuff.
Oh, cool.
They've got like their tours, they have their videos playing in the background. There's Nico's drum sets, there's records, and once in a while, like he'll pop in there, but it's super cool. And if you ever have the chance, he does an anniversary party every year, usually like, early to mid December. They've had Patrick's there every year. Patrick Johansson. He plays every year. I know, that crazy fuck.
I love that guy. I love him.
Yes, totally. Ripper Owens, he's been there, a couple years. It's just, it's a fun time. And, he does like, he actually used to do this band, Dodgy Enterprise. And they did like, it was like a Bad Company tribute band. So there's like Nico, and then, at the end of the night, they do Iron Maiden. So it's a good time.
very cool.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, we'll get down there, Eric. But if you're going to do the thing in October, I mean, I don't have like, I'll have to sell my house if I'm going to go to that show. But that's the thing, like it's like Maiden, AC/DC, Metallica, and like there's a bunch of other like giant, and it's huge. It's a big deal. It's actually where it's at Coachella. It's where Coachella is held. So
What's the festival called?
I don't remember the name of the festival.
Power Trip Festival. Hold on.
Yeah, it's something like
Yeah.
$400 a night.
Yeah,
Really?
I mean, JR could drive. It'd be the same distance for JR and me both to drive in opposite directions, but I could get there. But yeah, I can't pay those kind of
I
prices.
have a friend that actually, Alan. So this is like going back to like mid to late '80s. Do you remember the band Raise at all? They played do you remember the Mingles Down Under Club in South Amboy? And I was a little late to the party. Like I literally was like a freshman in high school. I went to like their last 3 shows. I saw Kix, Lizzie Borden, and
nice.
a friend of mine,
Back in the
Aaron.
day.
His band Raise used to open up for like Xenon there. And he actually lives out in Palm Springs. And he's like, he's like, come stay here, him and his wife. And I actually debated, and I'm like, but I don't like 2-day festivals, like they're long now.
Yeah.
Well, this Power Trip is only huge names, so I don't think they're going to be adding a lot of other bands. I think it's just, I'm looking at it now. It's Guns N' Roses, Maiden, AC/DC, Ozzy, Metallica, and Tool.
And I think they're all doing 3 or 4 hour sets.
So it's probably just going to be those big names, and that'll be it.
Wow.
Arguably the 6 biggest, metal bands right now, or in the last 20 years or 30 years or however old we all are. But yeah, I mean that's an incredible festival. But
the biggest names.
Yeah, it's just crazy expensive. That's the only thing that's keeping me from going. Aside, also the crowds and all that.
I mean, the market's up, Jack. Sell your house, just like you said you're going to.
There you go. Yeah, that'll be worth it. I'm sure my wife will understand.
Camper and
Right.
I got a quick bingo story if you want to hear it.
Yes.
This was we played I could tell you so many shows as a band where we like went out of the state and headlined, and a local opener like blew us off the stage. Like that happened all the time with Nonfiction up in Syracuse or wherever. Where was
Mingles again? I'm sorry, Alan. Where's Mingles?
Mingles is South Amboy, right? I think it's on Route 35.
Yeah. Yep. And then it burned down.
It burned down, right? So we opened for Testament there on the Legacy tour with Hades.
Wow.
And I will tell you that is one of the only times, and this story will be in the book, where we were the opener and we outdrew the headliner and just crushed them. But they were amazing. It's not that
That's the first
good.
album. 87 is the first album. Yeah.
Right. That's why this story is going to be in the book, because right at the beginning, because that's what we rolled in there, and we weren't on SOU so much. Nonfiction was the big SOU band, but Hades, we were getting attention and people knew us, and the band was around for a long time. So we had a good following, and it was a Jersey local show. So we had a great turnout. Maybe, I don't know, I'm going to say maybe 200-300 people or something like that for Mingles. It was pretty packed. And there was like maybe 75 people left for Testament when they went on, which was really weird. But I'll never forget, they sound checked with Disciples of the Watch, which wasn't out yet. And I just remember watching them sound check with that and thinking, this is like the greatest metal band ever. And I really
That's on the New Order. That's on the next album.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. They were playing some new songs from the forthcoming record, and this is what they sound checked with. And I'm like, that tune is just rippingly good. And I didn't really want to like them, because there's things about the Legacy I like, and there's a lot of things I don't really like. And I wasn't like a big Louis Clemente fan on drums, but Skolnick, of course, goes without saying. And they were phenomenal that night. But it was just one of those nights where we kind of we stole the show, and that never ever really happened with us. It happened the opposite with us a lot, where we were the headliner and the opener blew us away, and the place emptied out when we went on. But that was one little ego stroke I can remember fondly.
What year was that, Alan?
87, I think, right?
You know, I miss the days like, the Aquarian, the EC Rocker. Like, remember, like you couldn't wait. It came out like on Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
And I always remember like going to like the 7-Eleven, $1.25. Like you just couldn't wait to see like what shows were coming up. Like, let me look up L'Amour's, let me look up Mingles, let me look up Club Benet. And then it was like later on Studio One, the Cricket Club. Like that's how we navigated our shows, was like and then looking at the announcements in the back, like, hey, long hair dude, saw you at the Birch Hill.
Yeah.
Respond to me here.
Those are great days.
I know. I totally, anyone will tell you I love nostalgia, and just, I was young when I started going to rock clubs, it's in my blood, and that's crazy. That's how we navigated it. No maps. Like, how did we get to these clubs?
The grace of God.
Oh, how did we get
middle
home?
Right.
Yeah.
They were in the middle of nowhere. So and we used to just go up to Studio One in Newark, by the way, and just like go up and hang out.
So late, like after 12, right? After 11 and 12, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh
Yeah.
I remember leaving Studio One night, and I'm driving down the road, and there's just a car on fire, and I'm like, oh, I just like flew out of there. I'm like, fuck this, I'm out of here.
Somebody always got their car broken into at Studio One. It happened to me for sure, and it happened to my girlfriend at one time. It's just like notorious, right on the edge of like Newark,
I remember at Studio One, I got the CD single from Steve Brown from Trickster for Line of Fire. I don't know if the album was out yet, but I remember he gave me the CD single. I have it here someplace. Pretty cool that I still have that.
He just played at Dover Dodge last weekend up here, the car dealership, solo, just him playing like old Trickster songs.
Acoustic or something?
No, I think he was plugged in.
Oh.
Somebody sent me a video of it. I have to see. Let me see. I'll see.
That first album's great.
While you look that up, Alan, my favorite memory at Studio One is, I don't know if y'all know, but I'm a huge Blitz fan. Like I liked Overkill, like the first 2 albums. And I remember he comes up with like, this will be a cigarette. He comes up, and remember like the bands used to have to walk through, they'd come up the stairs, they'd have to walk through. Yes. And I looked up, and he's tall, and I like hit him in the chest, and he's like, what's up? And I'm like, oh my God. And I hit my sister. I'm like, that was Blitz. I'm like 19 years old. I'm like, that was Blitz.
Dude, I heard a story that when he was in Rockland County many years ago in the early days of Overkill, but they were really starting to like Power and Black demo days, but they were popular. And he got a job as like a custodian in a high school, and he had to quit because the kids kept chasing him down the hallway because they were so into him in the band and stuff.
Oh, that's fun.
Probably didn't wear the Skyliner.
That's like 83, 84 if it's the Power and Black EP.
It could have been. Yeah.
Right.
Since you said it, and actually, Kyle, we got to hear your stories too. I don't want you to be just listening to us, reminiscing about New Jersey. But so I met Peter Steele. I saw Typo Negative at Studio One, and the poor bands can't get the hell out of there. They got to walk through everybody. So poor Peter Still had to like walk through us all to get out, and we were all like rushed him, like that was awesome. But he was so in character, like even when the show was done. Of course, he's like, he's like 10 feet tall, and his hand like engulfs yours when he shakes your
And
hand.
that
We're
was
like,
a, that
that's
was
so
a high
awesome.
stage too, right? Wasn't it like, for what I remember, it's a pretty high stage off the ground, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah. He was probably like scraping the ceiling. But he's walking by us, and we're like fanboying. We're like, that was so awesome, and perfectly in character. Like, oh, we've been worse before, and just keeps going. We're like, oh my god, it's Peter Steele. Like, that's who he doesn't just drop character. He just completely said it in that voice. But no, it was a great moment.
Alan,
Rest
Yeah.
in
in
peace.
Studio One, if I'm correct, didn't Merciful Fate play there in '93 when they reunited?
I think they did on the was that the Shadows? What was
In
that
the
record?
Shadows.
In the
Yes,
Shadows. I
I'm
think it
pretty
was that
sure
record. Yeah.
I was at that show. So
I
thought
wasn't
it was
there. I
Studio
saw them at the
One.
Limelight around that time. They played the Limelight. I saw them
Okay.
there.
I saw them at the Studio One show. Do you have any photos from that going into the book? Do you know? Anybody got pictures from that?
Frank would know better than me, and I don't
Okay.
recall laying any in yet because I've put a lot of raw content into the pages so far that I'm going to get to finessing later and picking and choosing kind of what we take and don't take. But probably, but I don't know for
I
sure.
was curious because it's such a great album. I love that album, In the Shadows.
He talks about them, I think, in the first book at the Capitol. I think they played the Capitol. Maybe with Grim Reaper. Don't quote me on that. I should know, but definitely
Nice.
has a cover of the classic lineup there, which was great.
Mm-hmm.
I can't find this video of Steve
We
Brown.
have no questions tonight. There's 8 people watching, and we don't have any questions.
Well,
No.
does anybody have any questions for Kyle about the comic book here, or can you tell us anything
Yeah.
about it, or whatever?
Or tell us some good stories. I mean, I know some of your good stories, Kyle. Yeah,
Are
well, I mean,
you
yeah.
a fan of the song?
All right, go ahead. I'll shut up. Go ahead.
Kyle, can you hear us?
Yep.
Can you hear
Are
me?
you a fan of the song?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I think most people, I discovered it through Metallica, but had that Garage Days EP cassette for years.
Yeah.
I think it still might be in a box somewhere.
Oh, nice.
I need my readers for that. Hang on. I'm old now.
Well, and I did this kind of without Kyle's permission. Kyle would, because Kyle's hilarious, by the way. So he would send me like hilarious little, like he would change the dialogue in a panel and send it to me. Like he has one where the main character's saying like, of the Force, or like of the rebellion against the dark side, and then like there's another character where one of the villains is running away. It's supposed to be like this cool scene, and Kyle sends it to me with the dialogue just like whoop, 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 whoop. like like the Three Stooges. Or like Zoidberg, but no, it's just so I threw that all at the end of the book. Like it's just too good. So there's like an
Which
extra.
I like.
Awesome.
I was happy those made it in because those were fun.
Yeah, so no, it's fun. And there were more, there were more. But yeah, so I mean, do you have any stories about just working on the book? Anything? I mean, I know some of the stories. Do you have any like good stories, or even want to tell people how many hours you put in?
A lot. I can't. I think I did count them, and I know that I think it was in the thousands.
Wow. And I mean, it looks like it. It's amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That looks really cool.
Wow.
no, just so we had an artist, a Canadian artist who was attached to just life got in the way, and and so I talked to him. I was like, well, it was a completely amicable, great guy. It was nothing. There's no drama or bitchiness, but as he was kind of saying, like, I think I'm not going to be able to do the book. I said, well, what do you got? I said, I'll find someone, but can you recommend anyone? So he recommended Kyle, and then yeah, Kyle just absolutely just slayed. No pun intended. Just absolutely, just
Super cool.
Yeah, I've
did
known
amazing.
Jack
Derek
and
Ma.
Kyle. I'm sorry, guys.
What's that?
Jack and Kyle, both you guys. Before it gets printed and it looks like this, Kyle, do you do all the coloring and everything too before it gets printed out? You do all the
Yes.
color schemes and everything?
Yep.
You do?
Yep.
Okay.
Words, text, everything.
That's
Okay.
badass.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
a majority of the reason why the hours are up there.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
I found
it
the
was-
Steve Brown thing.
All right,
You wanna
nice.
see this? See if you can see this. Can you see this?
Just give it to me good, so sing along if you know the words.
Oh, for Trickster.
Yeah.
That's Steve Brown at Dover Dodge. I think
that-
that's Dover Dodge.
Give it to me good? I think.
It's like a
Yeah, that's what he
yeah,
said.
it's give it
Yeah.
to me good.
Do you want me to sing?
I'm not doing this right.
Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah, we hear it. We see it.
Good singer.
Erika's getting into it.
Well, he did say sing if you know the words.
Listen, you want to hear me sing? I'm a good lip syncer, though. Y'all know that. No?
Uh,
I used to play them on
Kiss
SOU
for
all the
Kiss.
time.
I'm cool with Steve Brown, but I'm not a huge Trickster fan.
I saw
The
them
reason
open up-
is,
was
sorry,
that-
go ahead. No, I was
I
going to
saw
say the
them open
reason
up
I'm
on
not.
the Kiss. Oh, no, you go first. Go out.
You go.
I saw them open up when they first came out on the Revenge tour with Kiss. That was pretty awesome just to see some Jersey
Yes.
boys up there.
They
Yeah.
did some big tours, some
Yeah.
big tours.
Yep.
The
Yeah.
reason I wasn't a fan is they broke the attendance record at the China Club in Hillsdale that we used to hold when we were in Hades.
You have that in the book. That's the other thing you put in the first book.
I did put that in the book. Yeah, I
Yeah.
said Hades, we should have thought of putting pink balloons on stage and kicking them out to the crowd. That's why we didn't get that, because that's what those guys did. But all credit to them, man. They did some big stuff for sure.
Yeah.
I was good. He sounds great, and that I mean, I'm listening to your phone through the computer. So, but he sounds great. I mean, some of these. I mean, we talked about this actually when we were promoting the Michael Pond album, because we were saying like Alan still sounds incredible on that album, but
thanks.
some singers from that day don't. They've lost a step or two, but
True enough.
he sounds great. Sounding great in that little clip.
Yep.
More power to him.
Are you still
out there
singing,
doing it.
Alan? Are you singing on anything coming up?
Yeah, I wrote a song called Frank White's Wallet. And it's with my band Level Fields, which is two guys in Germany, and my bass player Clint in right here in New Jersey in Chatham. And I wrote it a while ago because one night we were here working on the book, and Frank took his wallet out, and it was like I could find the photo of it. It was terrifyingly old and full of a million things. I'm like, how do you use this? Like,
one
he
of
has
those
a wallet. Like,
wallets?
how do you even like find anything in it? And he was like, oh no, I know where everything is. And then he ended up getting a new wallet. But I said, before you do get a new wallet, I want to take a picture of that wallet, and I'm writing a song about it from the perspective of the wallet.
That's funny.
So
That's awesome.
it's sung like as if the wallet is, singing the song, and it's all about where he went with Frank and all the shows they went to and stuff. I got to find this photo though, because it's hilarious.
Wait,
So Frank
Alan,
White's wallet. Go ahead.
Your bass is it Clint Arendt, or is that who
It
it
is.
is? You're
Yeah.
still jamming with him?
Oh yeah, I just talked to him this evening. Actually,
Tell him I said hello.
I will. Clint's doing great.
We all met
But,
at Dingbats one night, and then I ended up hooking him up with Metal Mike when he played that gig.
That's right.
And then
Oh, that's right. He was in Pain Museum, right?
Yeah, there's the wallet.
Oh my god.
Wow.
That's just ready to fall apart.
It's a Costanza wallet, right? Like
So
George
I gotta
Costanza's wallet.
get out. I track all my vocals now lately at my friend's studio in Stroudsburg, Rock Hard Studios. Dave Reiser, who's also going to be in the next book with his band Wicked Tricks from back in the day. And I just got to set time to get out there and track that song, because I haven't really gotten behind the mic, except for like friends bands where I'm just jamming with them at parties and stuff for fun. So I'm still singing a bunch, to answer your question, Rich, but just kind of for fun and with buddies and stuff. So this thing will be like a song we track, mix, and we'll release it digitally for sure.
Mm.
Can you belt out a Mental Messiah for? That was always, every time when I went to see like the 70s, that was always my favorite song, because you used to sing the shit out of that song, like all of them, but that one just always stuck in my head. That and
I think I
Peter.
might blow the speakers up here if I do it.
Listen,
But that was fun. I love doing that stuff. I love copping all of Rivera's vocals. He's got that crazy high scream, and Jack always was very, very good with letting me just kind of interpret stuff on my own. I kept it, I think, true to the song, but I got to do my own thing too, which was fun,
yeah, no, it was. I just remember, like, my God, that guy Alan can sing. I didn't know, it took a while to get to know you, but I'm like, he can sing.
Thanks.
Jack, I know we're getting towards the end here. Can you do another plug for your book and what's going on and what have you?
Yeah, so you know what? Let me let's just do this. I'm gonna click over and officially launch this thing, and then I'll put up the link on our screen here. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Kyle, why don't you tell people a bit about your other projects, and but let's also talk Am I Evil. I'm gonna click away actually, so I'll be here, but I'll be kind of like doing this.
Well, what does this mean? You're launching it, and how long is it going to be active, and then what happens afterwards?
So basically, yeah, I mean, I can tell all that. I'll tell all that. I'll
Okay.
come back. Let me launch it, and then I'll come back and fill in all the details. It'll probably take us up until we're out of time. But yeah, Kyle, go ahead and plug some of your stuff. You haven't gotten as much of a chance to plug all the stuff you got going on, and talk about Am I Evil too. Whatever you want.
2? What? We're doing a second book?
No, that's not what I
Crap.
meant.
Oh wait, no.
Spoiler. Hopefully, but
Jack's gonna make Diamond Head write a song for it too.
Ah, I'm in.
Yeah.
I don't know if my wrist is, but we'll find out.
I need it done by Tuesday, by the way.
And Kyle, how do people find you if they want your, get your artwork and do something?
At Kyle Hazard. I am pretty much on all the socials. Even when new ones come out, I park my name, and I'm pretty much the only Kyle Hazard out there.
Illustration.
Yeah, but that's on technically Facebook, but like Twitter, Instagram, it's just at Kyle Hazard.
Okay.
And KyleHazard.com as well.
Yeah. And I even signed up for Tribal the other day. I don't know what the hell that one is, but I'm like, park my name.
It's the Twitter. It's supposed to be the Twitter replacement when Twitter crashes and burns.
Yeah, but I think that's what Hive was supposed to be, and Mastodon. And
yep, all of them. That's what they're all
all
touting.
of those too, but I don't post on them.
Yeah, I thought Mastodon. Yeah, when Mastodon came out, I was like, "Well, it's a great band, but what are we talking about here?" All right, yeah, we're live. Let me get the link. So I'm gonna talk a lot. For a change, I'm gonna talk a lot. So you guys will hear me talk a lot. So let me post the link here. We're live. So someone go out and be our first.
I'm trying. I'm on IndieGoGo looking for it.
There it goes. So all right. So let me tell some stories. So this thing, like I said, I gave you the beginning. I won't rehash the beginning, but yeah. So we got the book is out there. So this campaign is to get these in your hands, these the print editions of Am I Evil, the graphic novel. That's really all we're doing. So I mean, as I talked to Kyle about this, I've been a little bit slow. I don't know. I have not done as much promotion as I should be. I should be spamming. I should be losing friends left and right by just talking to them. I should be like going to Starbucks, being like, "I'll take a venti, whatever," and buy my book. That's what I should be doing. But so this is to get a print edition because we only had the ebook, which I like e-comics, but most people want the real thing. Most people, honest to be blunt, the reaction to the first one succeeding was kind of just, oh, cool. I don't want that. I want people to, and we've sent out a couple of promotional copies, and the reaction we've gotten has been like, holy shit, this is great. We got the Great Walnut Award.
Holy shit.
Yeah, exactly. I got the Great Walnut Award from Jimmy K at the Metal Voice. Pete Pardo of Comic Book Geezers and Sea of Tranquility said it's a fun read. He did a little video just showcasing it and talking about how the great art, and he liked the story and everything. So this is what we want, and we want to share this with everyone. What's kind of cool about this campaign, and I'm not downplaying it, because I want this to make $10 zillion, is that if we make $20, I'll send it to both people and be happy. We can't. The book is done, so no one loses. Like the book is absolutely, it's ready and it's there. But yeah, obviously we want, we'll daydream. Like we have not committed to anything. But yeah, I'd love to do a sequel. But in the meantime, we want to get this book out there. It tells a great story. Has incredible artwork. Has incredible cover from James F. Beveridge, who's an award-winning artist out of Canada. He's absolutely a monster artist. He did the cover.
And then lyrics from the song too in the story.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what we got permission through. We licensed the song, so I can use all the lyrics from the song. We throw in some sly, perfectly legal hints to other Metallica and Diamond Head songs.
Yes, you do.
But yeah,
many.
But yeah, I mean, we don't quote any lyrics, so it's not like I could walk down the boardwalk and say, "Step a little closer, if you please." Metallica can't sue me for saying that. If I quote the whole Damage Inc. song, then they've got a gripe. But if I say their publisher, I wouldn't say Metallica's can sue me, but you know what I mean? Like, so we do something like a character says, "Step a little closer, if you please," which of course that's a nod, but we're not crossing any lines there. So it's a great moment in the book, by the way, when the character says that. But we got a little bit of sex, just a little bit. I objected, but Kyle forced me to put it in there. We've got
You should have
Lots
seen the
of,
stuff I took out, man. It was brutal.
No, it's literally like one panel. But it's mainly, it's the story of the song. So it's a lot of blood, a lot of like it's a lot of just good character. I'm proud of the dialogue. I'm proud of all the references, the little sly references.
And the
And
link
the
they
print.
got, and the link they got on the screen is when you go to the Am I Evil as I'm at the page. It's at the bottom of the page too for the website.
Yeah, well, the website, there's an graphicnovel.com that I need to update. I was waiting until the campaign was live to do the update, so I will do that tonight. I'll not leave it being outdated because that's another forefront. But honestly, to be blunt, just who we are, the way the world works now, Facebook is kind of our forefront. We have an Instagram page, which my wife, bless her, has managed more than I do because I don't really hang around there. I don't touch Twitter, so sorry if I'm losing money there, whatever. But yeah, Facebook is a good place to go. But yeah, now we've got this IndieGoGo page. I did get a bunch of people contact me, once we announced this and once it got some publicity through the Metal Voice. Get a bunch of people contacting me and saying like, "Hey, how do I get a copy? This is how you get a copy for now. In the far future, when the campaign is over, I'll make it available through that website. And I really want to get this in comic book stores. I want to make it so that I don't have to take them out of my garage and send them to you, or out of my storage unit and send them to you. But for now, this is what we're going to do. We're gonna finish this campaign. It's basically for this short term. IndieGoGo is how you can order them. I'm going to throw in a couple of other very cool things that actually match my personal history with this. Is JR actually mentioned that I wrote a novella, which is all text, which is not the comic, which is all text. But so I am recording. I actually have recorded. I'm editing a podio book, if you will, basically an audiobook version of that I'm going to release through YouTube. So you can listen to basically the audiobook of this, and that's going to be free for the whole world. Everybody can listen to that. Hopefully it will get us a couple of more people interested in buying the comic book. But yeah, that's going to be out on YouTube over the weeks ahead. Before we're done, this campaign will end. It starts on 6/6. It will end on 7/7. So you've got 31 days, but don't delay. Act now.
So what changes after
got
that
a backer
date?
already?
Jack, what happens after that date then? What changes?
Well, after that date, it may not be available. IndieGoGo is actually pretty cool where if we kill it, if we crush it, then IndieGoGo for a short time after that will still behave as like a storefront.
Mm-hmm.
But if, and I know I'm supposed to, you guys can tell, all of you guys in sales can say, Jack, you're doing a terrible job. But, if we don't hit our goal, or if we don't crush our goal, then yeah, it won't be available after July 7th anywhere. You can reach out to me, but then we'll have to figure it out. So it might not be available if you hesitate. So don't hesitate. Act now. It also helps the book. It helps everything. And I'll humbly say that this helps the metal world too.
You've got 30 days, so TikTok.
Yeah, I think there have been a bunch of really good comics out there. Look at that, Jim Harrison. You rock, Jim Harrison. Thank you. Jim Harrison, I talk to a lot on Facebook, by the way. This guy knows more about metal than all six of us combined, I think. But thank you, Jim. Yeah, I lost my train of thought. But anyway, yeah, I think it's good. There's been a bunch of really good metal comics. In fact, Rich and I talked to Steve Niles, who did the Dio comic, and that's a really good book that he did. Great artwork and cool story based on a Holy Diver album.
Holy Diver.
But our goal, and this is not me talking shit or smack. I mean, Steve Niles is a legend in comics, so this is not me talking. But our goal is to be the best. I want people at the end of the day to say, yeah, the best metal comic out of all of them is Am I Evil? That's our goal. So Kyle's going to be the one who talks smack, right?
Well, so you probably should have got a better artist if you wanted that goal. But what are you going to do?
No, the book looks great.
I really think you started the trend, Jack, because you were doing this. You were getting this going, like you said, pre-pandemic, and a lot of these started to drop during the pandemic, while you were still getting the ball rolling and getting the campaigns going. So I think we can all thank you for getting that going.
That's you're giving me way too much credit, but I'll take it. Yeah. So Steve Niles, you can make out your royalty checks too. No, okay. No. Z2 is they're well known for doing this. They've done a bunch. I have the Anthrax book. There's a bunch of good ones. But yeah,
I gotta get the Anthrax one. It looks good too.
Yeah, but Am I Evil? I mean, the song just begs to have its story told. It's just such it's a, the storytelling's so rich. I actually met. I'm gonna drop a little bit of name. I met up with the guys from guys and girl from Oceans of Slumber, and they were stoked. I handed them a copy, and they're like, this song is just perfect for this." And they're like, "This looks great. It's great artwork." So it was cool. It's cool to give them to Dauber and Cammy. And Dauber and Cammy appear on the social media. I was like, well, the price of the book is you got to pose for her picture. So I got him posing with the comic. Another great Houston band. We were talking about James Rivera earlier. Another great band, Oceans of Slumber. But yeah, so gotten great support. Like I said, I can humbly say I'm really proud of the story. I think it's an excellent story. All credit to Tatler and Harris for originally coming up with the story. But I don't know. I'm floundering now. Pal, I'm handing the baton to you. Tell us more about the book.
I sat in my basement and drew it. Did you want more than that? I'm not 100% sure. I got a lot more. No, I'm an artist, man.
All right. Well, and then
I feel like I should be more on, but I got nothing. I just finished a day of work. So.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Alan, as somebody who spent the last 2 years pimping a book, what are we doing wrong? What should we be doing to
well, I'll tell you. I mean, Frank is really big on. I should also say that when we knew that we had to reset the book, decided to reset it. Frank held off on really pushing it out to all of the major magazines that he shoots photos for. So that's going to happen with the revised edition. So he's got so many connections with like big magazines all over the world that will do something on our book and hopefully generate some sales. But he wanted to wait until we have the finished revised edition printed and ready to go. And then we're going to really put the gas pedal down on promo for it. But we've done a lot of like podcast stuff, a lot of interviews. That's really helped us a lot. A lot of in-person signings, most of which have been great. The last one we did was down in Mount Holly at a band show, and I don't think people were there to buy a book. And I think we only sold like one T-shirt, and it was almost 2 hours away. So that was kind of a bust, but it was the only one that wasn't super, received well. Usually we sell at least a handful of T-shirts or more, a few dozen T-shirts and a bunch of books. But the book, it's full color, full gloss and 350 pages. So it costs us about $50 to print, and we sell it for 75. So it's not everybody's, it's not everybody's budget to do it. In fact, I brought it to Bookends, the bookstore in Ridgewood that does a lot of in-person signings. And, Ridgewood's right in the heart of where a lot of these clubs were back in the 70s and 80s. And the owner was like, yeah, I could sell that for maybe $30. And I'm like, well, I'm not looking to lose $20 on the book.
Yeah.
So I didn't leave any books there. And I would bring your thing to Jack's in Red Bank if you have, not Jack's in Red Bank, Kevin Smith's old store that is still all about comics.
Oh, yeah.
Secret Stash, right?
That's the place you should definitely try to get it in, because I brought our book there and the guy was super cool, but he was like, this is a comic book store, man. And there were people there that were like just aficionados on a high level. It's a world you guys understand much better than I do. I have an appreciation for comics, but I'm not in that world like you guys. But that is like home base in Jersey for sure, for getting exposure. So I would get up to them and definitely try to get them to carry it if you could.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah, I mean, for me to come from Phoenix to Jersey to get it on the shelves, that's. But no, what you're saying is spot on. Yeah, make Catino do it. Yeah, no, but what you're saying is spot on. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm actually pleased I just looked as you were talking, Alan. It looks like we already got a couple of contributions, so I'm pleased we're off to a good start. Like in the opening minutes, and yeah, I got my work cut out for me. I'm gonna reach out to all the big. Like I said, we've already gotten nice coverage from Metal Voice and from Pete Pardo, but yeah, I'm gonna reach out to all the big. I'm not gonna drop names and put them on the spot, but I'm gonna reach out to all the big metal zines and outlets and try to get people to talk about it and cover it, and we'll see. But like I said, I mean, honestly, we're right now we could close the campaign down right now and I'll be happy. Say like, all right, we made a couple of bucks. We'll ship out those 2 books to those people and call it a night. No, but it's.
I would definitely get over to Europe, man. Hit the European magazines. I mean, your thing isn't, a fat heavy book like mine. It's hard for us to mail stuff out. Like I got a store in Germany, like a hardcore metal store that wanted to buy I don't forget what it was. It was like 3 boxes of books, and the shipping was like stupid expensive. And he's like, I'm gonna have to charge over $100 for the book, and I'll almost be breaking even because of the shipping. So that doesn't work for us. But for you, it probably wouldn't cost quite as much to mail it. Send it to Rock Hard or whatever magazines you can, and just try to get some kind of coverage on it. And I guarantee you that'll get some sales.
Somebody that's going to be at one of the festivals too. All the European festivals are happening over the summer too.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Headbangers Open Air, Keep It True, obviously the big ones, Vakken, like all the massive Rock Hard, sure, Summer Breeze, like all the big ones, and try to, I don't know, do something with them, to get the word out.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, right, and Diamond Head, as we talked about at the top of the show, new wave of British heavy metal. Yeah, so yeah, like I said, I shipped Brian Tatler and Sean Harris their copies, and yeah, the shipping was shocking. And that's for like a thin little book. It was shocking, but yeah, you're right.
But
I mean,
Britain post Brexit is ridiculous. I had to stop selling prints to Britain just because the VAT tax is just insane. Like I was like, I can't sell my prints, like, because I usually I got normal prints like that for like 11 by 17 things, and they're wrapped in a tube. They're like $10-15 for me to ship pretty much anywhere in the world, and Britain was like 40.
Nice.
I'm like, no, I just like, I'm losing money sending one piece of paper.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
Well, so I'm gonna actually, Kyle, if you can take us out, I'm gonna go around the horn and say thank you to everyone, because I got a little one out there too, so I'm gonna walk away from the campaign and go hang out with my little one. But I'm gonna say thank you to everyone. But Kyle, I'm gonna ask you though, Kyle, can you just tell the Doug Bradley story if you're allowed to, and then about his artwork on the wall, or your artwork on the wall.
Yeah,
and then
I was at
go ahead and tell that, and then I'll say goodbye to everyone.
I was at a horror con a couple years back. Actually, oddly enough, I will be at that same horror con in 2 weeks, where I will be pimping out the book and the IndieGoGo. But at a show, and I have a print that it's gone quasi viral. It goes around of like, it's the Lament configuration box, as if it was like a 1950s comic book advertisement.
Mm-hmm.
From Hellraiser.
Hellraiser, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's it. And Doug Bradley, the guy who played Pinhead, was at a show, and I go up and I give him a copy of the print, right? Because I do that for shows, and 90% of the time I'm like, assume the actors go, "Oh, thank you, Ben." But like, he's like, "Oh, I really like this," and his wife comes up and she's like, "I know exactly where we can put that." I'm like, "Oh,
that's awesome."
You're lying. But then about a year later, a friend of mine messages me and like, Doug Bradley is live streaming on his Instagram. You should go look behind him. And he's in his kitchen with his dog. It was just this weird Instagram thing of him going, "This is my dog's birthday," right behind him on the wall. On Pinhead's wall. So I'm like,
that's awesome.
I may have screamed, but and by may have, I mean I did.
Screamed or squealed?
Both at the same time.
So cool.
Yeah.
But
All right.
So we're back. I just had an internet glitch. All right, well, so yeah, thank you guys. Thank you everyone for
thanks everybody for joining us.
Thank you.
Erika, the superstar, the legend of Florida, the legend of the metal. Yeah, we need to give you like an awesome title, because Erika, like I said, I'm not even kidding. Erika has a bigger fan club than any of us here. So Erika is awesome. Erika, you got to come back. We got to talk Overkill. We got to talk.
So many bands.
We got to talk.
So much.
Somebody.
I wanted to be a rock star. I wanted to, but I can't sing, and I don't play any instruments. So I'm one at heart. Okay.
that didn't stop a lot of rock stars. That didn't stop them not being able to sing or play an instrument. There's a lot of rock stars who couldn't do either.
I mean, but thanks for having me. And just, Alan, I'm definitely looking forward to the new book, and congratulations to, Jack and Kyle and everyone on, on your accomplishments,
Yeah.
Thanks,
awesome.
Erika. Thanks. You're going to
I'm
love
glad
it.
to have such cool friends.
Same.
Thanks.
Same.
And and JR, I mean, JR also, I know you have always have like 10 projects in the works. What do you have coming out this year?
I'm working on recording Giant Robot Planetary Competition Book 1, trying to get that recorded and released up on YouTube. I'm going to release a chapter a week, get that out, and then I'm going to start recording the rest of them. I'm still working on writing and trying to finish out that full 16 book set that I want, but writing is slow. Life rolls happen. See how it goes, but just got to keep pumping out the audio.
Yeah, excellent. Well, yeah, and you can get that stuff. Come on, JR, you got to pimp. I mean, we're all
much like Kyle Hazard. I'm at jrmurdock.com. I'm at JR Murdock everywhere, Facebook, Twitter, all those fun sites. I also go and try and park my name everywhere as well. But yeah, jrmurdock.com. You can find all my stuff, links to all my books, links to all my videos for YouTube and whatnot, and check it out. Enjoy. Lots of listening.
right. Well, and Rich, like I said, I mean, I'm not getting all mushy on you, man, but Rich, this wouldn't have happened without you. So thanks again thanks again for all the years of Metal Asylum.
Happy to help and happy to have everybody on too. It's awesome.
And Alan, man, it's been too long. This is great. And you know what? I think I don't know if you when you get out to Arizona, I think you get out here for bike stuff every once in a while, right? You can come out here, you know.
My daughter wants to go to University of Arizona, so I might be out there more than I expected to be. We'll see.
Yeah, that's down in Tucson. All right. Well, yeah. Well, thank you all. I'm already too superstitious to look. I'm glad that I looked and saw we had a couple of backers. I'm not even going to look. I don't want to. I don't want to look and see the. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to walk away from it.
There's a month, man. Drive you nutty.
Yeah. Click. Did it change? Click. How about now? How about now? Yeah. No, I'm not going to do that to myself. All right. Thanks, everyone. You guys are all awesome. And thank you out there for watching. Jim Harrison, thank you for jumping in and telling us that you support us.
Thanks,
thank
guys.
you, everyone.
Everybody have a great night.
All right. Good night, all.